Welcome to the latest video in our series, focusing on 6 key areas of ESG. I'm Katherine Flower, I'm a partner in the employment team, and I'm joined by Jamie Cameron, a director in our employment team. So Jamie, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, we're going to talk about equality, diversity and inclusion, or ED&I, because we know that for many organisations, ED&I is their key focus area under the S of ESG. Now, ED&I is a huge topic, it covers a range of business issues, but for most organisations we're speaking to, they're focusing on improving ED&I in their workforce, so that's what we wanted to talk about. And based on our experience as a firm, but also the work we're doing to support clients, we wanted to talk about some of the trends we're seeing and some practical steps organisations can take to make positive change.
And we have already seen some change, both in terms of society's attitudes and in the way in which the law has developed. It's worth saying that the law that organisations have to comply with now is fairly complex, and it offers protection against a wide range of protected characteristics. It also continues to evolve. We've recently seen a focus on prevention of sexual harassment in the workplace, and we know that further reforms are coming under the Labour government. But change is not just driven by new legislation. Organisations no longer see ED&I as a compliance exercise. Many recognise the value in having a diverse and inclusive workplace and the benefits that diversity of thought can bring. But it isn't just organisations wanting to change, is it?
No, that's right. I think we're definitely seeing clients, customers and investors being more focused on ED&I when making decisions about who to buy from or who to work with. And regulators are taking a far greater interest in the wider culture of organisations and imposing greater obligations in terms of reporting. I think critically, employees and potential recruits are looking closely at organisations' values and approach to ED&I when deciding who to work for. And I think we're seeing a greater expectation from employees on what organisations will offer. That's particularly coming through in terms of enhanced family-friendly policies, hybrid and flexible working practices. And on top of that, I think there's also a greater awareness of employee rights and a willingness to enforce them. I think you've seen that, Katherine.
Yes, we've seen organisations increasingly having to deal with tricky ED&I issues, some which have serious reputational impact. This might include sensitive workplace investigations or issues with employees who have competing beliefs. So, whilst we have seen some tangible change, there is undoubtedly much more to do. We're also seeing organisations actively wanting to move the dial and improve the diversity and inclusivity of their workplace. And while specific initiatives will likely depend on where an organisation is on its ED&I journey and ultimately where it wants to get to, we think that there are 3 key focus areas that organisations can look at. So, Jamie, where do we start?
Well, I think the starting point has to be understanding your workforce. So knowing the makeup of your workforce and how they like to identify is important in lots of ways, but it's crucial to be able to set and then monitor progress against ED&I targets. Having the right data for that is fundamental. Obviously, you need data to be able to comply with your reporting obligations, but more generally, being able to look at promotion, recruitment and bonus outcomes for underrepresented groups can provide useful insights and can help to identify potentially hidden issues.
Yes, and if you understand your workforce, I think a really powerful way of making meaningful progress is through the use of lawful positive action. And having the right data to support positive action is going to be key. And that can bring about an increase in diversity through initiatives such as training and development programs.
Yeah, it's definitely something we're speaking to more clients about, looking to do that safely. And I think it's something we're going to see more of. Moving to the second area we want to talk about, and that's transparency and accountability. I think they're critical factors in building trust with employees and helping them move the organisation in the right direction. One way you can do that is to set and report on ED&I targets and action plans, reporting on progress and success of any particular initiatives. One thing we're seeing a lot of clients doing at the moment is now voluntarily reporting on their pay gaps in anticipation of new reporting obligations coming in. Another thing that clients are doing is introducing ED&I into performance discussions and also linking, particularly for senior executives, linking their bonus and incentive arrangements to the achievement of ED&I objectives.
And I think it's important to remember that some potential barriers to ED&I may not be obvious, and so it can be valuable for organisations to review their policies and their practices to see if they can make any improvements. The final area we wanted to mention is employee engagement and support. To make meaningful progress on ED&I, it is crucial that strategy is led from the top. But organisations also need engagement and buy-in at all levels. And a good way of doing this is by establishing employee networks and mentoring and reverse mentoring programmes. These programmes can help to ensure there is the right messaging in place, as well as providing peer-to-peer support.
So, as we said earlier, ED&I is a huge topic and we've barely touched the surface today, but hopefully we've given you something to think about. We know that ED&I related issues are some of the most difficult for organisations to deal with, and it's important that any legal advice is tailored to reflect the value and approach of each organisation. So please do get in touch if you'd like to talk about any of the issues we've mentioned in this video.